I'm going to do something a little different on my channel. Basically, I've been into D&D for a long time, and I've done a lot of cool stuff with D&D, and I've made a lot of miniatures and things that I use on my table. I want to show you guys, when I first started out, this was kind of the idea. I was making little boxes like this. Okay, just a piece of cardboard, hot glued. That's what most people use to start with. Got these little pieces here that I used for tables or whatever they were needed to be. And I decided I was going to start getting a little bit more realistic. So I started going more into detail and crafting things like this. This is not done yet. It's actually in the process of being done. The roof comes out. I haven't put the windows in yet. But you can see inside, it's just a cardboard box. The outside looks pretty good, even this stonework. And I'll show you guys how to do all that. But as I was doing these buildings, I started to realize that the realism is pretty cool. I mean, I got these grass things and started making flocked trees and things like this. This is all just cardboard and styrofoam with some flocking made with sawdust. I'll show you guys how to do this stuff too. But I realized that I wasn't really enjoying this realistic look because D&D is a fantasy world. And one thing I love about fantasy games is the art style. So I started playing with things. Instead of making things like this, like a fountain that you can see the water in there, it's pretty cool, right? I started making these like little realistic painted pieces like this table. I liked the way it looked. But then I saw some cardboard stuff online and I got really excited because not only is it easier to mass produce this stuff I'm about to show you, but I actually like the look and style so much more. So let's go down here to the table for a second. Make sure. If I was to take these two pieces here, this is just foam, it's spray foam, and put in a bridge like that. Looks pretty cool. I've got a lot of this rock, and what's cool about this rock is when you put it over it, you can pretty much put it any way you want, and it looks like it belongs there, which is really cool. I'll show you guys how I made this too. But I started to look into some other kinds of bridges and things, and I found a lot of people are using stuff like this. I really like this art style, so I made a bunch of it. I've got beds, I've got chests, I've got crates, got a little wagon I made here. We can actually make all this stuff, and I like the way it looks better than the stuff that I was using before. For some reason, I just feel like it adds a little extra bonus to the game table. And it's very pronounced and it's very fun to see. I do have some boards that I made. I'll show you guys those too. So let's put this stuff over here for now. I started messing with dungeon tiles a long time ago. And these were the dungeon tile sets I started making. I started with these ones with the squares. I didn't like them too much. I started making these ones. I have a lot of these tiles in all different sizes and shapes and colors. Then I started getting into dungeon maps for my table. This is one of the first ones I made. It was the most realistic looking one I've made. It's actually sawdust and it's painted and it looks pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, a house like this would look amazing on here with one of my flocked trees, which you guys can't see from the front, but it looks pretty awesome. It's a nice little setup. But I decided I wanted to do something a little bit more cartoony to match the new style. So instead of making realistic stuff from now on, this channel is mostly going to be making some of these really easy to make cardboard pieces that I think actually have a really good style for your table. And these are so easy to make with just marker, and you can do so much with them. You can make all kinds of stuff with basically nothing. And I'll show you guys, I've got ships, I've got bridges, and this is the new style of my table, for sure. This is what I'm going to be using, most likely. So the dungeon tiles that I have, I'm going to degrade those as well. I'm thinking I'm going to take these dungeon tiles that I used to make and make them back into something a little bit more digressed, something a little bit more simple. But that's basically what this channel is going to be about. And I'll show you guys how to make some of the more realistic looking things, but I think I'm gonna take a pretty big nosedive into the world of these cardboard pieces that are very simple to make with just cardboard. You don't need to buy a bunch of stuff. You need a Sharpie marker and some white glue, and that's pretty much it. And I really like the way these came out. I'll show you guys a little bit more. So here's some shacks I made for a town that I'm running in a game I have. Here's a archer tower. Same technique, just painted on. I really like these. And I like the fact that I can easily throw a ladder on the side of the tower, and it makes it more realistic. Not realistic, obviously, but the cartoonish feel of this is really nice. I like it. I'm going to show you another thing. I do want to show you some of the new dungeon maps that I've made. Instead of using the realistic grass, what I have is a piece of plexiglass that I put over these. And this is now my grass table. That dog is very annoying. I like this because it looks good with the cartoon stuff. Another thing I started doing is making some less realistic trees. Like these. It's just paper and wood. Have a toothpick there to stick it in.
Quite honestly, I like that tree way better than that one.
Yeah, I do too. I really enjoy these little like craft trees. They're super easy to make with just cardboard. And I like the way they look. You can set up pretty much anything on your table. The way I use this is I have a piece of plexiglass I put down on top of it. It's just a 26 by 24 inch piece of plexiglass. And what that does, it allows me to use it as a dry erase board. So when I play, I can put out paths and things, but I am going to actually start making some paths that I can put on the table that will kind of just connect together. Kind of like a dungeon tile set with pathing. So it's going to be kind of cool. I want to show you guys one more thing. Here is my simple cartoonish water map. Again, I had this really intricate water map that looked really realistic, and I decided to go with something more artistic-like. And what I really dig about this water map, and I'll show you guys some of the things I'll be doing with it, the ship I've started, I can basically put these in place. This is actually going to be a dock. I like these stands. What I've been doing is putting plastic on the bottom and making the ripples in the water. What I like about it is you can still use all the pieces that I made for other things to connect things together and make things look awesome. Obviously, we'd have more of these. I'm probably going to glue them on the side. So basically, this is the setup. It's really easy to play a game like this. And since everything's light cardboard, it can pretty much be put into the water the same way it'd be put on ground. And you can make these really intricate maps without a lot of work. And I like the way it looks. When I play with this on the table, I like it. The characters can actually move along things. You can see the pathing. You can always add islands and rocks in the water. The same way that you would normally do. It's got a lot of oomph to it, and I really dig it. So basically, this is the kind of stuff I'm going to be showing you guys how to make. So hopefully you're interested in this and you will come and check out my channel more often. This is the intro, so in the next video we're going to make something simple. So I'll see you guys then.